Hi there, I'm Stu from Layercode. I'm going to be helping you get started with our Layercode pipeline today. I'm just going to walk you through what you see when you first log on for the first time. We create you a pipeline, a demo pipeline that you'll get taken straight into. So you'll be looking at a page that looks very similar to this. What you get here is an overview of the pipeline. You can see the schematic here, which shows you the way that the pipeline's hooked together, the different parts of it. The client ends here, they will be hooked up to your application. In our playground, we have a playground here that we can try out, and you can see how that works. And in this case, the client's hooked up to our playground. The easiest way to do that is we've got a JS SDK and a React SDK that do all the heavy lifting for you, handle the getting the audio from the microphone, setting that up, connecting to the web sockets in our pipeline. Now, you can do all that stuff yourself if you want. There's low-level APIs that you can connect to, but we provide a simple SDK to get you started in JavaScript and React hooks. So take a look at the docs for that. But just for now, we're going to look at the playground approach, just so you can see how it all works. You'll see here we've got a transcriber. This is the bit where it takes the streamed user audio and turns it into text, and we have DeepGram as a provider at the moment. We'll be supporting more providers very soon. DeepGram's got one model at the moment, Nova 3, which is a really good model for real-time conversation. We start off with an automatic turn-taking mode. If you've done any conversational AI before, you'll know that turn-taking is a big problem in conversations, and for the bot to know when to speak and when to interrupt and all that kind of thing is not a trivial problem. And so one of the things that we have spent a lot of time and energy on is getting some good turn-taking working in an automatic mode. And so we have a combination of different complementary methods, both using the DeepGram audio detection mechanism in tandem with a small model running in the client, which can detect whether human speech is present or not. And then we use that in combination with some logic in our pipeline to figure out when you're speaking and when you're finished. This is much more reliable than a lot of the off-the-shelf conversational AI pipelines, which just listen to gaps in the audio and make it very difficult to have a conversation with the bot. So out of the gate already, we've got something that's going to work a lot better for you in terms of turn-taking in conversation. We're also working on new mechanisms that are going to be coming out very soon. They're very exciting ways of doing turn-taking and going to improve that whole experience. So watch out for that. But to get automatic turn-taking mode, it's just that drop down there. And we just have a default trigger at the moment. As I said, we're going to have other kinds of trigger coming through soon that are going to supplement the way turn-taking works. This slider here, can interrupt, is automatically on, which means that as a speaker, I can interrupt the bot. This is usually what you want, but in some cases, you might not want the user to interrupt the bot. You want the bot to finish speaking. Let's say it's in a situation where the bot is giving advice that the user needs to hear the whole advice. You don't want the user to be able to interrupt and stop the bot from speaking. So we give you that option there. At the other end of the pipeline here, we've got the text-to-speech module, and that takes the text that comes out of the agent, which I'll be showing you in a minute, and it converts it to audio speech that's going to be streamed back to the client and played in your client browser. We have two providers. We have both 11 Labs, which is a very popular one, and Cartesio, which we find is slightly quicker and more reliable for real-time speech. The Sonic 2 March, particularly the March model at the moment, and this will change, I'm sure, very soon, but we found this to be the most reliable model for real-time speech right now, so we default to that. And I've got a clone of my voice in here, but you can see that there's lots and lots of voices that you can choose from and have a go of. So when we save the changes there, that's saved back to the pipeline. Okay, so what's happening in the middle here? We've got the hosted backend. This is Layercode's own demo backend, and you can use this to try out your your pipelines. In fact, you can use it as your pipeline if all you're wanting is an LLM prompt to run it. So this is something that we're running ourselves. All you need to do is set the prompt. So in here you can set the system prompt here, and you get the option of whether there's a welcome message or not, and whether the bot starts speaking, what it's going to say. There you go. So this is the entire pipeline for a hosted backend. When you want to use your own backend, you'll click on this button here, and you will put in the webhook URL for your agent endpoint. You will use this webhook secret to authenticate your agent webhook, and we will show you how to do that in the documentation there. You get to choose which webhook events go through as well, and the session start one is the one that drives that welcome message that we just looked at in the demo agent there. But for now, we're going to just look at the demo. Okay, so when we go through to try it out's going to work, is our playground, and it'll work whether we've got our hosted backend or your own backend, so you can try things out and see what's happening in the pipeline. You get a few things to help you out here. When we click try it out, we're going to go through to the playground. It's the same link. You get metrics, which are going to show you the behavior of the pipeline. You're going to see the calls. You're going to see the average cost. You're going to see the latency, average duration, things like that, things that are helpful to know about the performance of the pipeline. And you also get webhook logs in here, which are going to show you all of the calls that are happening, and you're going to be able to drill into these and see exactly what calls are being made, what's coming back. This is all the calls that are being made in our pipeline to your agent, and it'll show you, for example, the timestamps and what kind of message it is, what kind of event it is. So that's really helpful in helping you debug. If something's going wrong with your agent, you're going to see it in these webhook logs here. Okay, so let's go through to the playground.
Hi, how can I help you today?
Hi there. Can you tell me what the quickest way to get from Glasgow, Scotland to London, England is?
Hi there. The quickest way to get from Glasgow to London...
Oh, actually, could you avoid flights, because I don't really like flying.
No problem. If you'd prefer to avoid flying, the quickest way to travel from Glasgow to London would be by train. The train journey typically takes around 4.5 to 5 hours.
That's great. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
No, that's great. Cheers. So you can see that's working. The bot is interruptible. It should let you finish speaking, and it's not going to interrupt you if you don't like take short breaths or take breaks during a sentence. So that kind of behavior is built into the automatic mode. But let's have a look at the other mode, which is push to talk mode. Push to talk mode is a standard kind of walkie-talkie style interface where we can use either the space bar, or we can press a microphone button or something like that. This is really helpful for certain applications where you might want to give the user full control over the turn taking, and it gives the user a lot of confidence in terms of like being able to take their time and talk through things before the bot answering. So there's certain applications where push to talk is a really good solution for this. So I'll just show you how that works now in the playground. So you can see now.
Hi, how can I help you today?
It's connected. It started the welcome message, but what you can see that the microphone level's coming through from me, but because I'm not holding down the space bar, it can't hear me speaking. When I press the space bar now, I'm going to speak to it. Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. How can I help?
Actually, could you tell me the quickest way to get from London, England to Paris, France?
Okay, the quickest way to get from London to Paris is definitely by taking the Eurostar train.
Okay, that's great, but I don't really like trains, especially ones that go underwater. Are there other ways?
Okay, I understand. If you're not keen on the train, especially the underwater part, the next fastest option would probably be flying. The flight itself is quite short, around an hour and 15 minutes. But
right, that's great. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Is there anything else?
Right, so you can see that the push-to-talk mechanism is actually a lot more zippy and responsive than the automatic one. And that's because there's no guesswork involved in when the user's finished speaking. The user is telling the bot, I have finished speaking now, and the bot can process the audio really quickly. We're buffering up the audio, transcribed audio in the pipeline. So as you're speaking, that audio is being transcribed, it's being buffered, and then when it's decided that it's the end of the turn, whether it's either the push-to-talk mechanism or whether it's the automatic mechanism, it then has that buffered transcription and it sends it through to the agent, which can process it. And that's why it's pretty fast, and it allows the agent to get that transcription much quicker than, let's say, if it had to process the recording at the point where it thought that the end of the turn was happening. Okay, so that gives you a good overview of the pipeline. Hopefully you've got enough to get you started there, and if you go to our docs, you'll see much more information there that should help you start to get your own back end connected and get conversations happening. All the best.